You've been lied to. You don't need more healing, more courses, or another mindset hack in order to be successful. In fact, chasing all of that is exactly what's keeping you stuck. The real reason high performers sabotage their success is because they are trapped in one of 9 unconscious loops. And until you see the loop you're in, you'll keep spinning your wheels no matter how hard you work. Now, you may ask how I know that. Well, let's just say for years I was stuck in one of these loops myself. See, I always wanted freedom. That was my dream. So when I was younger, I joined this travel club as an affiliate because I saw that as an opportunity, as a vehicle to build my freedom business. But here's what happened. Instead of prospecting, presenting, talking to people, recruiting, doing things that actually grow a business, I spent all my time taking more courses, reading more books, even watching these random movies every entrepreneur must watch to be successful. The truth is, I was only doing these things because deep inside, I didn't feel capable. I was in the loop of always needing more knowledge before I could act. And because of that, I never allowed myself to fully go for what I really wanted. It wasn't until I finally realized that I built my whole identity around this belief of not being capable and that I needed to start trusting my natural ability that everything shifted. So today, I want to show you these 9 different unconscious structures we can create because I guarantee you, if you're a driven, high-performing person who's been frustrated with your lack of results, you're most likely caught in at least one of these loops. So let's break them down one by one. So the first one is the perfection loop. And the person who's stuck in it is what we call an idealist. This is where you believe, if I can just be perfect, then I'll finally succeed. So you obsess over discipline, the perfect morning routine, having a flawless body, taking all your supplements, or building an unshakable mindset. You're chasing every hack to eliminate your flaws, every method to optimize yourself. But here's the trap. Perfection doesn't exist. No matter how close you get, it's never enough. And while you're polishing yourself, life keeps moving without you. I had a friend who spent 2 whole years perfecting his website and his business idea, but he never launched it. Or I'm sure you know those type of entrepreneurs as well who keep delaying opportunities because they are never quite ready. That's perfection in disguise, and it's expensive. Not only you burn energy trying to fix yourself instead of creating, but you also get more and more caught up in a broken identity. And the irony is, winners aren't the people with perfect plans. They're the people who act and then figure it out on the way. The second one is the worthiness loop. This is who we call the helper. Now this one looks noble because deep down, you don't feel worthy of success, so you're trying to earn it by helping everyone else first. You say yes to every request, you overgive, you sacrifice your own dreams, hoping that the universe one day will repay you. But the truth is, the world doesn't pay out on self-sacrifice. You don't earn worthiness. You realize you already are. You may have seen this exact pattern in that brilliant coach or consultant who spends all their time helping others for free, but never builds their own business. Or in that entrepreneur who keeps saying, once I helped everyone else, then I'll finally focus on me. Well, guess what? That day never comes. You just exhaust yourself supporting others while your own vision starves. You become the person who helps everyone else grow except yourself. Now, type 3s are the achievers, and they are in the not good enough loop. Now, this was my mentor's story. He played basketball for his country, he got 2 degrees, he built 2 8-figure companies, but deep down, he never felt like it's enough. Now, if this is your pattern as well, you can probably relate to that. And you can recognize it if you notice you keep trying to prove yourself. You hit one milestone and immediately move the goalpost. And that emptiness you feel inside never leaves because that unconscious identity of not enough can't be satisfied by external wins. I mean, think about it. How many entrepreneurs have built million-dollar businesses only to implode because they still felt empty inside? That's this loop in action. You start sabotaging your wins because if you ever admitted you were enough, the identity would collapse. Now, number 4 is the belonging loop. This is who we call the individualists. This is when you feel like you don't fit in with your family, with society, or with anyone really. You feel different, misunderstood, maybe even inferior. So instead of focusing on wealth or love or whatever it is that you want, you obsess over, who am I really? What's my uniqueness? You chase endless identity work and you're terrified of rejection. You spend so much time figuring out who you are, you never get around to creating the life you want. By the way, we call these loops because the unconscious doesn't ever want to let go of its orientation. If it believes you're not good enough or not capable or you don't belong, that becomes who you are, especially if you try to fix it long enough. And if it was to let go of that identity, it wouldn't know who you are anymore. This is why it sets up this oscillation pattern where even if you go for your desire, this unconscious agenda pulls you right back. If you want to break free from that, click the first link in the description, watch the video that explains how I could help with that, and if you're serious about achieving your goals, book your free session with me. Now, the next unconscious trap is the capability loop. This is who we call the observer. As I said earlier, this used to be my trap. This is when you believe you're not capable enough, you're not knowledgeable enough, or overall, you're just not ready yet. So instead of creating, you keep learning. You buy more courses, stack more books, or add more certifications. You might even binge must-watch entrepreneur movies like I did because it feels productive. But here's the truth. You'll never feel ready. Because capability doesn't come before action, it comes because of action. I know because that was my life for years. My dream was to build a freedom business. But instead of prospecting, presenting, and recruiting, I buried myself in YouTube tutorials. I stayed in this preparation mode because I didn't trust my natural ability to go out there and do it. The turning point was realizing that no amount of learning would ever give me permission. I had to trust myself. I had to act on what I already knew and let my capability grow through that execution. Until then, I stayed stuck in learning mode, always preparing, but never progressing. Number 6 is the safety loop, and we call these people the loyalists. This is when you don't feel safe at your core. Maybe you grew up without stability, maybe you lacked protection, maybe you learned early on that the world is dangerous. So instead of chasing freedom, you cling to predictability and authority. The military, religion, strict corporate ladders, anything that promises certainty. And look, there's nothing wrong with that kind of structure. But when safety becomes the ultimate goal, you sacrifice your dreams for comfort. You may feel secure, but only because you've locked yourself away from the life you actually want. The next one is the positivity loop, and we call them the optimists. Now, this is actually my brother's pattern, and these people are so much fun to be around. It's also very common in the self-help world because this is when you believe you're not allowed to feel any negative emotions. So you chase constant happiness, shiny objects, new highs. But here's the truth. Life is duality. Every joy carries struggle, just like every love carries the potential of disappointment. Ignoring that doesn't make it go away. It just makes you shallow. Think of the person in your life who bounces from course to course or business to business, always chasing the next dopamine hit. That's not positivity. That's avoidance. You may feel upbeat in the moment, but it's only because you're running away from the very life that could actually fulfill you. Number 8 is the power loop, and we call these people the challengers or protectors. This is when you believe you're powerless, and to compensate for that, you grab control of everything you can. You don't delegate. You don't trust anyone. You don't let go. You must be the strongest in the room. And sure, that makes you look tough, but inside it's exhausting. Your relationships turn into battles. Your businesses crumble because you can't release control. Your need for control becomes the very thing that controls you. And the last one is called the nobody loop. These are the peacemakers. And we call it that because this is usually the most lost person out of all. If that's you, you believe you're insignificant. Nobody's special, so you play small. You don't even set big goals because deep down, you don't believe you're allowed to have them. So you keep the peace. You settle. You tell yourself you're content. But really, you're in quiet desperation. Yes, you avoid conflict, but in doing so, you avoid your own life. Here's the thing. These loops aren't actually who you are. They're just old patterns running in the background. But as long as you're caught inside them, you'll keep taking one step forward and 2 steps back. And the sneaky part is, to you, they may look like progress. Because you always do more learning, more healing, more fixing. But look at your results. Your business, your money, your relationships, your lifestyle, your health or vitality. Are you satisfied with those? If not, then this unconscious agenda you're trapped in is just keeping you busy instead of actually moving you forward. So how do you break free? Well, it starts with a true choice. Not something to fix the way you feel incomplete about yourself, but something you genuinely want to see exist in the world. Then you set up a creative structure, holding the tension between where you are and where you want to be. Not trying to fix the wound, not resolving the loop, but holding the structural tension. From there, you emotionally connect with the end result. You recode the resistance that pops up, not by healing endlessly, but by teaching your brain to let it go. And finally, you take aligned action, either masculine or feminine action. That's the 5-step system I use with all my clients. And when you're held accountable to live this way, these old unconscious loops just won't have power over you anymore. If you want to dive deeper into this and learn how to actually break out of these loops for good, join my free community, Superconscious Awakening. That's where I share trainings, tools, and support to help you create a life you love without fixing yourself. And if you'd like my personal guidance, book a free session with me. I'll help you figure out which pattern is keeping you stuck, or in other words, what wound you have created your whole identity around, and show you how to break free once and for all. But the longer you wait, the deeper the identity sets in. Don't let another year slip by when you could already be creating right now.